Hello. Welcome to tonight's class. It's the 27th of February, 2024, 2 days short of a leap year day. And tonight's class is on overcoming disappointment. Things will always go wrong, yet we can get attached to things going right. So things can always go wrong, or will always go wrong, and yet we can get attached to things going right, wanting things to go right. So we can use meditation to reduce this expectation and explore where it arises in our life so that we experience peace more and more. So this really is non-attachment to things going right or wrong, sorry. Non-attachment, well, both, actually both, two sides of a coin. If we get attached to things going right, then we set up expectation and hope. And if we get attached to things going wrong, we can get despondent. Oh, not me again, not this again, this always happens. It's quite common, I've observed this in parenting, that children can grow up to think, oh, typical, that's up to me. And that doesn't come from nowhere, that comes from parents. That comes from parents going, oh, that's the sort of thing that happens to you. And then that story becomes a truth in our head that these things happen more to us than other people. That's awful. That's an awful thing. It reduces our self-worth. It's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it simply isn't true. It simply isn't true. We don't walk through life with bad luck or good luck. It's just not true. That belief has come from somewhere. And so what we can do instead is look at the truth of reality, everyday reality. And what happens? What happens? And do we have expectations over and above that are totally unrealistic? Do we hope for everything going well? When things don't go well, do we get despondent? And do we get despondent when certain things don't go very well, but we're all right with other things not going so well? And so this is a little voyage of discovery within ourselves. Where do we have hope? So very, very controversial to say that hope can be a very cruel mistress or master, because at one end, hope can keep us alive. Hope can keep us alive. Hope for a better day. If we're really, really low, rather than committing suicide, hope is what gets us through to that next day. And yet at the other end of life, where we're looking at contentment, there can't be contentment if there's hope, because hope is wanting. You can't have wanting and needing and have contentment. So at some point, there's a letting go of hope. That is very controversial if somebody hears it down this end. It sounds like the biggest load of baloney and dangerous advice. So it's context, it's place in that journey and where we're at. If we're in a really good place, we can explore letting go of hope and moving into contentment. It is experiential. I can make these scenarios, but it's experiential. This end's experiential. We know if we feel hopeless and suicidal, it's terrible. And we know that hope can get us out of that. We don't necessarily know contentment. We're lucky sometimes we get a glimpse of contentment. You may remember moments in your life where everything just felt perfect, felt beautiful. It may have been with a loved one. It may have been a romantic moment with a sunset. It may have been holding your child for the first time. There are moments where there just is contentment. They arise and they go, and they can be quite fleeting. With meditation, the background stress comes down and down and down and down. It goes up and down and wiggles, but if we're doing it right, if we're not being a tosspot, a knobhead, whatever you want to call it, day to day, then the background stress is going to come down, unless something is out of kilt, and then we can look at what that might be. But generally, with counselling or whatever, whatever method. But generally, the background stress comes down until it gets low. And when it gets low enough, we can start to remove hope, let go of hope, and explore where we have hope. So lack of hope at this end is not despondence, it's beautiful, it's contentment, it's peace, it's liberation from worrying. Down this end, it keeps us alive. Hope is everything at this end. A still mind has no hope in it. So this is not a theory, this is not an idea, this is not a belief. I'm not extolling an idea, an opinion. Yeah, a still mind just it has no hope in it. It doesn't want to be somewhere else. It doesn't want that moment. It doesn't want the next moment to be something, to have something in it. It doesn't mind if the next moment goes wrong to some degree, to the degree that we can extend this in our life. So that's what tonight's class is. Sometimes things go wrong and you just think, that's all right, that just went wrong. Sometimes things goes wrong. You might drop a dinner plate and they're old and they're a bit chipped, and you drop a dinner plate and think, oh, good. You might think, good, I can get some more now. That's great. I've been wanting to get rid of that old computer for ages. It's finally given up the ghost. Yeah. So sometimes when things go wrong, we think, great, brilliant. And then sometimes things go wrong and it's like the world's fallen apart for us and it just knocks the cells out of us. We feel really deflated. We feel devastated sometimes. And down that end is sadness. We can feel really sad. Not another thing that's gone wrong. Naturally, when we meditate for longer and longer, things that would ordinarily disappoint us, frustrate us, sadden us, make us despondent when things go wrong. Just it happens naturally that they bother us less and less. And we don't have to go looking for these things in a general sense because they'll fall away as we practice meditation. As long as we're doing it sincerely with a good heart, it doesn't have to be a perfect good heart, just a sincere good heart, they'll fall away. And then there'll be stuff that doesn't fall away so much and it rocks us. It rocks us. And there are underlying attachments. And they start to show up when all the other attachments fall away and there's not much less left, then those things they can still impact us quite heavily, especially as the noise of everything else slows down in a meditation practice. And it's fun to look at this early on in meditation practice as well. It's sort of, where are my hopes? What does bother me? What rocks me? What can I do about it? Can I watch my mind being bothered by it? And then ask myself the question, does it really matter? Not to undermine our feelings, because our feelings are valid if they arise. When they arise, they're valid. But just to pass it through the filter of what's true. We can pass everything through the filter of what is true. Is this true? Really, really simple question. Three words, is this true? Somebody says, oh, those things always happen to you, typical. Is this true? Do things always happen to us? Are we unlucky? And bound up in all of this is what's important. What's important? Because if something is less important, we will have less hope for it, less attachment to it. There's nothing is intrinsically important. A piece of poo is not important if it's in the loo. If it's on the floor, it's incredibly important. If it's in the hands of a dung beetle, it's supremely important. If it's in a doggy bag, great, job done. So the same thing can have totally different levels of importance depending on where it is and the context. So nothing's important from its own side. We're not important from our own side, are we? You know, if somebody walks past me who I've never met, probably couldn't give monkeys about me. I have no importance in their lives. If I bang into the back of their car, I'm suddenly a very important person to them. Especially if you haven't got any insurance, then I'm super important to them. Therefore, in our own minds, we can play around with importance. We can alter what's important to us. We can look at what's important to us. And this matters because it helps us to stay calm when things go wrong. So what matters to you? What really matters to you? Do you plan for death? Do you wonder, do you hedge your bets on where you might go after death? And what might help you in the future, in this life? What are your beliefs around that? Are they important to your day to day? Do you measure your day on how much you've got on your to-do list? Or whether you've prepared for death and what comes after, if something comes after? That's why I say hedging the bets. Can you imagine not hedging your bets and getting it wrong? Can you imagine that? Nothing happens after this. And then you die and then something happens and it's a bit rough. You think, oh, I didn't try and hedge my bets. And some people say they don't believe in reincarnation, and then you ask them if they believe in heaven, and they go, yeah, it's reincarnation, isn't it? You've just decided you've gone somewhere. And it's always an English garden with a swing for some bizarre reason, heaven. So there's a lot in this meditation, there's a lot in this teaching, and it's an exploration. It's a study of ourself. Is this true? Is this true? So I might think, I'm not attached to things going well at work, at home, in relationships, with my cooking, with my clothes, with my body. You know, how attached are we to our body working well? If we break an arm, or some people go crazy over breaking a nail. Now, I'm a bloke, so I don't understand that. But some people go crazy over breaking a nail. I don't have to worry about hairstyles, get my hairstyle right. So if we don't have things, we don't have problems with them. Now, the more things we've got, the more things that can go wrong with them. If you have a car, I used to have a Metro. I had virtually nothing to go wrong with it. You start getting cars these days, they're like the Starship Enterprise. Everything can go wrong with them. And if you don't have a car, you've only got one problem. You don't have a car. So the more stuff we get, the more problems, the more things there are that can go wrong. And therefore, there'll always be a day where stuff goes wrong. There'll always be a day where stuff goes wrong. Forget to pack something, who knows what it might be. You know, door handle fall off, boiler not work, computer break, lose a key. So we'll do a little meditation on breathing, prep, and body relaxation. And then we'll have a little bit of time, which is meditation. Exploration in our mind is meditation, as long as we come back to the exploration and don't just mentally wander off. We'll explore where in the past we've let things get to us that could happen again, and then see what we can do about that in terms of balancing what's important and how we might get those needs met elsewhere, and just to look at what we're still attached to. So we start by picturing this room. I'm aware of the body. And we can be disappointed with this body. We can be disappointed with its shape, its colour, its weight, its strength, its resilience to being knocked and things. We can be disappointed with this body in all sorts of ways. Can we change those things? And if we can't, no point in getting worried. Can't change anything. If we can't do anything about it, why worry? If we can do something about it, we can set off and do something about it. No need to worry. Can't change something about our body, why worry? If we can do something about it, why worry? Now become aware of our thoughts. Notice your thoughts come and notice your thoughts go. Now we don't know when our thoughts are going to fall away in meditation. And we have expectations often. Meditators have expectations of when that busy mind, that monkey mind, will fall away and slow down. And we don't know. We never know whether the next uncontrolled thought's the last one. And yet we can have a running commentary in our head that, oh, I'm not meditating properly and very well, and results aren't coming. Maybe for you, results are different from a quiet mind. Maybe for you, results are another aspect of the benefits of meditation. Maybe your body's more relaxed. Maybe you're more at peace with in relationships. Maybe different things. So we've got an expectation perhaps from meditation that it should benefit us like this or like that first or by now. Of course, if we're not meditating properly, we won't get results. So see if you can watch your thoughts and let go of all of the expectations of what they should and shouldn't be and how fast they should and shouldn't come. Just be the witness of them. Just stop the drama and watch. Now we're going to become aware of our feelings. Somewhere in the body, somewhere usually down the middle, the throat, the chest, the stomach, around the belly button, in the loins, there's usually some feeling. See if you can bring your awareness down lower out of your head. We often stay in our head out of fear of feelings because they're unpleasant often. Bring the awareness down. Emotional composure we're practicing here. Leave you for a few moments to observe your feelings. And we really do have expectations of having good feelings, and yet we know that unpleasant feelings, to a very small degree or a greater degree, happen a lot. So our expectations are totally out of kilter with reality. Is this true? Is it true that really nice emotions arise all the time? Not on their own. What's the reality? Just observe what the reality is in each of these moments in your body with feelings. And we do this to the degree that we are able. Some days it's easier than others. Some emotions are very strong. Some emotions we have expectations of not arising more than others. So it's a practice. We have to be very light with ourselves. We have to really embrace failure in meditation, fully and wholeheartedly embrace failure. Otherwise, you won't get as far as you want to. You know, that wanting to be a better meditator, that's hope, that's expectation, that's desire, that's craving. And when it doesn't come in the way we want it to, we can stop meditating altogether or get despondent. So please learn to be a beautiful, beautiful failure at meditating, day in, day out. Just looking for the tiny little improvements gradually. That's mastery, same in any exercise. We've met with body, thoughts and feelings. We're now going to relax our body. We're going to relax a body that's going to let us down. It's going to let us down. We're very likely to die in pain. Maybe managed pain at the hospital, hopefully. But this body will let us down. It will become more painful as we get older. Aches and pains. It's an incredibly amazing mechanism, and it's faulty. So we're going to relax this vehicle for the mind that is degenerate. Bring your awareness to your left shoulder. Scan all the way down. Relax off any tension you find all the way to the fingertips. And now the same from the right shoulder down. Bringing the awareness now to the left hip. Scan down the thigh, the calf, relax off tension wherever you find it, all the way to the feet. And the same from the right, all the way down. So we'll relax this body. And we have expectations for it. Our expectation is that this body won't have pain. Our hope is that this body won't have pain. Is that true? Will this body not have pain? Is that true? If we check, it's totally unreasonable, isn't it? it's extremely improbable that this body won't have pain. So we can drop that expectation, look after our body, care for our body, nurture our body, but try to cope with it not overpowering us. And sometimes it does. I was in agony with my back about 8 or 9 days ago, 10 days ago, and it completely overpowered me for a period of time. So it does sometimes, and we find out where we are with our expectations. Now we're going to bring our awareness to our shoulders and our neck. Just imagine warm summer sunshine beating down on there. You know, we're told that we should have brilliant postures, and if we don't, we'll get neck ache and back ache. Well, most of us are office wallers. We're going to get neck and back ache. We're doing a job, we're getting paid to sit around totally unnaturally for hours each day. If we did manual labour, and we do manual labour, then our joints are going to wear out. We're going to get aches and pains and problems later in life. Maybe now, you know, cracked skin and bangs and knocks. That's what's going on. We're not a failure. We're not a failure in posture because we get a stiff neck and a bad neck and everything. It's totally and utterly unnatural what we're being asked to do and what we're committing to doing to earn some money. We can try and improve our posture and get a better chair and things, but it's perfectly reasonable that we slouch a bit and that our chin drops and we get an ache in our back and our neck. This body wasn't designed to sit in a chair all day. Nothing. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not doing anything bad. We're not faulty. Now, inside of us, we're going to imagine black smoke swirling around. And bound up in it is our unrealistic expectations, our unrealistic expectations. And the hope that is a barrier to contentment, not the hope at the other end that saves our life, the hope that clings to things, that wants tomorrow to be a better day, that doesn't accept things as they are and find contentment. And all this frustration, despondency, expectation, hope that blocks contentment. Imagine it's bound up in this black smoke, and as you breathe out 3 deep, heavy breaths, imagine this black smoke and these blockages disappear into the distance. Imagine you're giving up all hope, the hope that blocks contentment. Accept the moment as a practice. And after the 3rd deep out breath, observe what is in this moment. There's bugger all in it. There's hardly anything in each moment. Our mind worries about moments in the future that will also have hardly anything in them. The vast majority. Just sit and watch your mind, your body, your room. In this moment, what's going on? Not much. Smell, hear, touch, based. What's going on? What's coming in? Thoughts. What's being received? Can you handle it? Can you accept it in this moment? Can you rest in it? Can you power down and rest in this moment, given what's in it right now? Meditative mind has been told it can have bliss. It wants bliss. It thinks bliss is the end point. If there's bliss in this moment, sit in it. If there's no bliss in this moment, sit in it. Treat them the same. Bliss comes and bliss goes. Observe just how little there is, how little trouble there is in this moment. Even some unpleasant feeling, we can deal with it. We can not want it to be different and relax into it. Sometimes. And still keep breathing relaxed. If you have despondency and disappointment, if you have those, if those have arisen, if they're perfuming your mind, if they're pervading your mind, then see if you can just accept those as being without the mind wanting to rush and change it. Over the years, there's been the ice bucket challenge, and at the moment, there's this Wim Hof method of freezing cold plunge pools. If we can do things like that, wild water swimming in the cold, people are prepared to do all these things, face very painful physical experiences in the hope of finding some peace. That's what they're really looking for deep down. And yet it's rare for somebody to sit with their feelings, even mildly unpleasant feelings, but will jump in a bucket of ice. That's how scared the human mind is of mildly unpleasant feelings. We don't need to jump in buckets of ice. Jump into our mind. Jump into our feelings. Practice emotional composure. Then we'll get the peace that we're looking for from the ice bucket. I think that does work to some degree, otherwise it wouldn't have taken off. I think it does help. How painful is it? I don't need that. This is very gentle and mild what we're doing here. Much more direct. So now we're going to visualize golden light coming in through our nostrils, sparkling golden light. Keep your mind delicately concentrated and really relaxed. Sort of give in to the moment. Just completely give into it and keep the mind gently aware. As you breathe in, visualize sparkling golden light coming into the body and the mind. And imagine it's got beautiful contentment that is free from hope. It has no need for hope. Hope will disturb it, wanting something from the future. As you breathe in, imagine you've got hopeless contentment, free from hope. You can imagine that. It's a mind that just doesn't move. It's calm. It's not searching. It's not on the hunt. Imagine this is the nature of your mind as you breathe in sparkling, beautiful golden light that's calm and clear. With the last few golden light breaths, imagine all hope melts away, and that each moment is enough to be contented. The body, the mind, the thoughts, the feelings, the external happenings. Imagine we've let go of hope because we can be with what arises. It's all right to be sad. Another flavour of the mind. It's all right to be sad. We're going to be sad. If I say I'll never be sad again, is it true? Don't know, but from the past, very likely I won't be sad again. Therefore, why be surprised and shocked and push it away so hard when it comes? Now, that sadness might be telling us something. It might be expressing a need. That's important. That's self-care. We can go and try to meet that need in a different way from time to time. Or be patient, or accept the frustration. Now we're going to do the breathing meditation. Follow the breath in all the way down, then all the way out. Now notice the cool and warm sensations in the nostril linings. Cool as we breathe in, warm as we breathe out. Keep aware of these. If your mind wanders away, come back to them. This concentration causes peace. This is the Holy Grail. We search for peace even in our dreams, search in the wrong place. Focusing with concentration in meditation is the giver of everything we want. Peace. Please enjoy it. cool, changing to warm, changing to cool, changing to warm. You're giving yourself one of the biggest gifts in the universe. Priceless. Now we bring our awareness to the very rims of the nostrils. Noticing the cool and warm sensations again. Being careful to notice where it's warmest and coolest at the rims of the nostrils. Take this as the point of concentration. Each moment of this is bringing peace. You've done it. You're here. You're generating peace. Be happy. Be happy, at least be relieved. You found it. You found your reliable process of peace. So all sorts of things are going to go wrong. They do. We look at the past. All sorts of things go wrong. Things break. We get things we don't want. Illnesses and things, bills. We get things we don't want. We can't get things that we do want. More money, better resources, body shapes. There's all sorts of things that we get disappointed by and despondent and frustrated. And yet, if you're here meditating with me, you've found peace. You're doing peace. Those things won't bring you what you want. This will. This does. It's reliable. If this class doesn't work for you, my meditations, find some others. Try yoga. Try other methods for bringing peace. But they have to fundamentally be mind-based, because a lack of peace is a mental experience. My arm can't experience a lack of peace. My mind can. My mind does. So peace is important to you. You'd be weird if it wasn't. If peace is important to you, is it more important than your car breaking down? Cars breaking down creates great difficulties and problems, but I'm talking about our reaction to those. Is our peace of mind more important than our body? Have you ever asked yourself that? Is your peace of mind more important than your body? A body without a mind is just a blob. A mind without a body, if it's content, sublime, I would imagine. How much time do we invest on our body and how much in our mind? Peace is important to everyone. We look for peace in all the wrong places all the time. And sometimes, if we're really, really fortunate, we have a predisposition to meditate. We have a body that's able to sit in meditation without too much pain, because too much pain, you won't meditate. We have mental health such that we can concentrate, such that we can investigate and analyze our mind. We have emotions that we can connect to. And if you're disconnected from your emotions, dissociated, that's probably a trauma-based situation, and you can gradually open up back into emotions. So as long as we've got that facility long term, it will happen. We have the facility to receive meditation classes on YouTube and all these other places now in real life. We have an incredible array of conditions that have come together that all have to be together. They all have to be right for us to meet with meditation, have the inclination to do it, have the wisdom to see that it helps us, have a good enough heart to want to be a better person using it for ourselves and others. And we need love and we need wisdom. We'll meditate. And we need just the right amount of suffering. Too much suffering, you won't meditate. Too little suffering, you won't meditate. If you're meditating, you're in the sweet spot of suffering. So what's important? Is peace important? And then we can measure it against all these other things. Pens breaking and keyboards breaking and not being tall enough, not being short enough, being too large. Relationships breaking down. I'll leave you for a little bit to explore what you've experienced in the past that has had the power to dismay you, disappoint you, frustrate you, get to you as a meditator. Might be a beginner. I don't think there really is much beginner, medium, and advanced stuff. No one knows what the next moment's going to bring. But if you've been doing it for a while, what still gets to you? And this is not to diminish for a moment your thoughts and your feelings, because they're so important. This is our relationship to those thoughts and feelings. How we meet them. Do we meet them with compassion and wisdom, the wisdom that understands the way things really are day to day? So in reality, things are still going to go wrong for you. For me and you, things are going to go wrong. What we can do is, as we move through that, calm our mind through meditation, developing peace, resting as peace, resting in peace. The two are subtly different depending on the focal point. Resting in peace, resting as peace. And surrendering. Surrendering as deeply and sincerely as we can. Giving in. In meditation in the mind, if we surrender and give in, there's nowhere to fall. So I don't mean fall into despondency, I mean to let go. If we let go, surrender, grabbing onto everything, there's nowhere to fall. We're afraid that there is. We think we need money and we need possessions and we need conditions and we need this and we need that. Simple, sincere, regular meditation practice. Our frustrations, our despondencies start to fall away naturally and gradually, more and more. So we can be honest, we've checked what's going to go wrong. Well, our body's going to let us down at some point. Probably our car, probably our house at some point. Things in it. Maybe our bank, overdraft, unreasonable overdraft fines, whatever it might be. These are all going to keep going. People not being nice to us. Plow through all of that with peace, creating peace, chipping away, enjoying meditation, accepting it's far from perfect practice. Having an image of the future where things go wrong externally. Gradually we get more and more peace. That's our future as a meditator. Things still go wrong, probably go wrong more. We get more capacity to deal with them. Peace is far closer than we realise. Peace is just behind a little veil of thoughts. Just beyond a little veil of non-acceptance of things as they are. Striving, of chasing. Principally, a great deal of fear and a small amount of unpleasant emotion. Great deal of fear, a small amount of unpleasant emotion. That little veil, behind that is contentment and stillness and compassion. Great deal of compassion. our whole lives have been based around being this lie that we'll get happiness and peace if we are successful at this and that and the other, successful at this and that and the next thing, successful at this and that. We bring that mind state to meditation because of our habitual stories we're told, these lies, these falsities. Just breathe, just watch, just meditate simply. Allow yourself to fail loads. Just watch. Be a little bit brave with your feelings to watch them. Be a little bit braver each time, if you can, to watch feelings that are a little bit harder to be with. Start small, start easy. That builds confidence. The last few minutes, just contemplate what's really important. It puts other things in perspective a little bit, in terms of how we relate to them. Finally, before we come out of meditation, we can consider that we've chased perfect conditions all our lives, and we've been despondent when things have happened that were going to happen, that will happen, that will continue to happen. And we can feel deep compassion for this past self, for our life, our prior life. We've struggled, it's been difficult, there's been loss, there's been grief, there's been pain, and there still will be in the future. The mind doesn't need to be disturbed by it as much. Each day a little bit, each week a little bit, each month a little bit. The mind deeper down stays calmer as things go wrong, as things fall apart. And that's the ultimate self-kindness, to practice like this. Allow ourselves to fail and keep going bit by bit. But finally, I just want to remind you, if you've been meditating for a while and think you're not doing it right, not getting there with it, maybe look at other ways in which your life has changed, in which the meditation practice has changed you. It might not be the measure that you're trying to use. It might be other measures that you've just been a bit blind to or taken for granted. That are really good measures for how you're doing in meditation. Might be getting less annoyed with the pigeons. It might be the gap between thoughts. It might be widening your humanity to more and more sentient beings. You might be crying more. You might be laughing more. When it feels comfortable, be aware of how you feel. Accept it as best you can. Just allow your eyes to open and accept what you see, what you smell, what you touch, what you feel. accept these moments as you open your eyes, just as they are, just for a little bit. Thank you. Okay, so if you've enjoyed tonight's class and you want to watch more, then there's my YouTube channel, Paul Follows Meditations. If you want to sign up for classes like this or ones in person, in real life as it were, then you can sign up for reminders of those classes on the front of my website, front page, paulfollows.com. Thanks for meditating.